I know the younger version of myself is looking at me and is like, whoa, like, we've always been yearning for an unconditional love. We've always been yearning for just genuine support. And I've become that genuine support. I've become that genuine love for myself. And it, it seems so simple. I think that's the real deal. What's up? What's happening? It's Jasiah. And ah, life has been sweet. Life has been full of so much divinity and so much love. And I truly believe that the reason why it has been very sweet and fruitful for me is not because I'm after any materialism, but instead I'm after a feeling. And that feeling is being this version of myself that I needed when I was younger. Because when I was younger, there was so much neglect from places I should have received love. There was so much yearning for wanting a regular childhood, for wanting to have what other children around me had, which was a healthy support system, a loving family. And I had my family. However, my family was not one that was typical. It wasn't one that was healthy. I didn't have my mother around. I didn't have my father around. And so with that being the case, as a child, I always yearned for the approval from everybody. I really truly did. And, that served its purpose, but having been the version I am now, I'm quite literally embodying a version of myself that younger me would look at and just be like, whoa, like, is that really who we are? And that feeling in itself has been so fruitful. It has been so fulfilling. And it's so fulfilling because I'm at this point in my life where I feel as though, yes, obviously we want the luxury. Yes, we want the shiny things and we want to be able to have all that we desire, right? At least I do. But having been able to have certain luxuries and it being taken from me brought me to the realization that the real, true, fulfilling feeling that makes me feel rich, that makes me feel wealthy, is being able to be a version of myself that younger me is like in awe of. And how I mean is being kind to myself. When I go through certain difficulties in life, I take kindness and I just overload myself with kindness. I take it easy in every aspect that I possibly can. And I do that because growing up, I never had anybody there who's simply just being kind to me, who's simply nurturing me, who is simply loving me. I may have had, sources here and there, like my mom and my dad would pop out and into my life, but it was never a steady, nurturing energy, which I required at the time. And so now being who I am, I'm able to nurture myself through life. I'm able to simply sit down with myself and acknowledge that in my childhood, I may not have had the love that I felt I deserved. I may not have been nurtured the way that I know was required, but it all brought me to who I am today. And who that is somebody who will be very kind, somebody who will be very nurturing, somebody who will be very easy on themselves as we are going through and navigating life. And that that is priceless. It truly is priceless. The shiny things, the luxury, the materialistic goals, that is inevitable. The success is inevitable. But as I get there and as I'm navigating through life, nurturing myself has been so fruitful. And it's been so fruitful in a sense of my healing. I've been able to heal so many different aspects of myself, so many different just so many different parts of myself that I didn't realize was neglected for so long. And the only reason I was able to come to the realization that there has been neglect in certain aspects of my life and in certain places that I know need extra attention is because I've been able to be easy on myself, because I don't apply too much pressure, but instead I allow my emotions, I allow these difficulties, I allow everything that's being presented to me to be handled from a place of nurturing and understanding. And that is something that I've never had been exposed to, point blank period, up until this point. And I don't want to say I've never been exposed to and not give credit to those who have been loving and to those who have been supportive in my life. But it's knowing that that love, that support, that nurturing always came with obligation. It always came with conditions. I have never had a love in my life that came with no conditions. And I am that love in my life that comes with no conditions. I am that love in my life that is simply here to nurture myself, to be kind to myself, to apply this love, to apply this just kindness to myself in every situation. And that has done miraculous wonders for me when it comes to these difficulties, this pressure being applied in my life. There may be so much factors that I am not in control of, such as right now, there's like yard work being done in the background, for an example, and there's so much noise, there's so much turmoil. And I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't film this video. Maybe I shouldn't set this camera up. But it was telling myself that, okay, there may be that noise, there may be that turmoil in the back, but how was I going to loop this? I was going to loop this by basically saying I was being kind to myself rather than being upset. And that's something so little, but it's so drastic. I was so irritated. I was so annoyed that there's so much noise in the back. How am I going to film this video? But instead, I was kind with myself. I was being patient, and I was telling myself, we're going to find a solution to this, because if I want to do this, it's going to happen. And the solution was noise cancellation on my mic. It worked out. I'm filming the video. And in little instances like that, it's so important that these little instances that can either bring me down a route of being annoyed, being irritated, or bring me down a route of being patient, being calm. And that is everything, because in that moment, I could have lost my peace. I could have been annoyed. I could have been irritated, but instead I took it with well, I was going to say passion. I took it with patience, and I do everything with passion though. I was taking it with patience, and I was taking it with kindness, that yes, there may be external factors that I'm not able to control, but in this moment, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to take a second to step back and find a solution. And in me being able to do that, I'm able to cultivate this peace of mind within, rather than trying to find that peace of mind outside. And as simple as that may sound, it's deciding that in every single moment. And deciding that in every single moment can be it, oh, my words. Let me pick it back up. It can be daunting. It can be so daunting for every single moment that I met with to express kindness, to express patience, to express a level of ground groundedness, I want to say, to remind myself that regardless of anything that I met with, I know that I'm grounded. I know that I can be kind. I know that I can be patient. And in me being able to do that, I'm able to choose an internal state of mind that is peaceful. And me being able to choose an internal state of mind that's peaceful is quite literally the embodiment of nurturing myself, knowing that there is so much that may not be in my control, but at the end of the day, I will always be nurturing to myself. I will always be kind to myself, and I will always be supportive of myself. And that I know the younger version of myself is looking at me and is like, whoa, like, we've always been yearning for an unconditional love. We've always been yearning for just genuine support. And I've become that genuine support. I've become that genuine love for myself. And it, it seems so simple to say that, protecting your peace of mind or being genuine and loving yourself. And I put them in air quotes because that is simply it's just, it's, I put them in air quotes because it's deeper than just saying it. It's deeper than just being able to say that you love yourself. It's deeper than just being able to say that you're being kind and you're being nurturing, because it takes consistent decision making when it relates to ensuring you keep your peace in little instances. So, every single moment is a moment for myself to decide that it's okay to express empathy for myself, because I could have been so upset that, oh my goodness, it's so loud and there's just too much going on. I don't want to film this video. Or I could have been sweet. I could have been kind to myself, expressing to myself like, yes, there is a lot going on, but we will find a solution, because if this is what you want to do, we're going to make it happen. And that, I just feel like I'm like my biggest superhero. Like I always have a cape on to save myself. And I love that. But yes, become the version of yourself that the younger you needed. Nurture yourself, love yourself. Yeah, it's getting really, really loud now. So 12:12 as I looked up. I will talk to you later, loves. Mwah, 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 mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. Later, loves.